hoping that you guys are all cozy and tucked in and gonna enjoy a nice home practice with us. So for those of you that are joining at home, if you can grab a blanket and then a block or a big thick pillow for today is what it's gonna be most helpful for. And we're gonna actually start on our back. So for those of you that were there, I apologize. You can go right back down. Ward, you're right where you need to be. So we're gonna start on our back. We like to take it nice and slow and easy on our Friday afternoon practice. So just kind of stretch out or take the knees into the chest, whichever feels best for you right now. And then just take some deep breaths. Begin to really slow your breathing as much as you can here at this point in your practice. You might notice that slowing of the breath gets a little more manageable as we start to move our body and work out some kinks, so to speak. But after you've had a chance to really come onto your back, really stretch and move just a little bit or stretch out into stillness, I do want you to find a place to land that you can be still and comfortable and really arrive right here in this space, completely and entirely designated for your practice, whether it be here in studio with us or at home. Every breath that you take, you have that opportunity to carve the space out over and over again as you need to. And we're going to begin with just a gentle figure 4 hip opener. So when you are ready, bend your knees, take your feet onto your mat. Allow your arms to relax at your sides for now, and then we'll take our right foot straight up toward the ceiling. Take some slow, gentle turns of your right foot around and around in space, and then around and around in the opposite direction. And then when you're ready, cross your right ankle over top of your left thigh. Feel the external rotation through your right hip, then reach down and see if you could capture your left thigh, bringing the shape of your legs in close to your body. Now just tend to the positioning of your left leg. So you decide where your left foot's going to be in space. It might be just hanging loosely, relaxed, kind of down, heel toward bum, or maybe you take it about halfway up along the horizon, or maybe you want to extend your left foot straight up as well. And experiment with anywhere along that spectrum, foot low to high. Then focus on your breathing, broaden your chest with your inhale, relax your jaw, your shoulders, your spine as you breathe out. And just check in if by some chance your head does not feel easeful on the ground, it feels like it's kind of hovering away, you can either grab that blanket or block, slide it in beneath your head. We'll be here for 3 more breaths. Perhaps even utilize your right elbow or forearm to guide your right thigh away from the right side of your chest to deepen the stretch. All right, we're going to take the shape of our legs and just tilt them over to the left. So you're just going to keep your legs kind of tangled up, tilt them over. Right knee goes up high toward the ceiling. Hang on to your right lower leg or your right ankle or foot with your left hand. And then the right arm is free to stretch away from your body. And this one might be a tender one for you. So just make sure you're unclenching your jaw. Maybe even take a clearing sign breath out if you need it. And then make your way back up to center. Now untangle your right leg. Send your right foot up. Take a gentle hamstring stretch. Hands slide up along the right leg, maybe to the calf, maybe to your Achilles tendon, maybe to the foot, or maybe just at your hamstring. One more deep breath. But exhale it out and then send your right leg all the way down the length of your mat. So fully extend out through your right leg. Take your left knee in toward your chest. Just give it a strong squeeze. And then you're going to go into spinal twist. Left leg is going to move all the way across and over. Left arm stretches away. Find a little bit of movement through the length of your left arm. So you might reach up a little higher overhead. You might bend the elbow and active cactus the arm down. Keep on breathing. And then bring it on back to center. Now, before we move into our second side, let's take a moment with just both knees coming toward the chest, a gentle hold of the knees with your hands, and a couple of slow and steady breaths. Bring yourself right here again. And then both feet come down to the floor. Make sure you don't have anything under your head for the moment. And between sides, we're gonna come up to bridge pose. So just lift both hips up and away from your mat. Take a few breaths there with your hips lifted, legs activated, feet active, toes might lift and stretch, and then come back down gently to your mat. And then lower your hips down. Now moving into the other side, left leg goes high. We take some circles around and around. Circle your breathing still, and then go the other direction. And then cross, left ankle over top of the right thigh. Before bringing the shape of your legs in, actively rotate your hip out and then reach down. Capture the right thigh in toward you. Take a strong and steady breath, and then you choose. Where do you want your foot to go? Do you want it to go way up high? Do you want it to go kind of along the horizon, or let it drip down just low, letting gravity kind of win? Broaden your breath. Don't forget to add some support under the head if you need it. Blocker blanket. Deep, deep breath in. Exhale it all the way out. And then tilt your legs over to the right. So you're just letting the legs go all the way over. Grab hold of your foot or your shin with your right hand, and then left arm just stretches away. Exactly, perfect. Breathe into that. Work the kinks and creaks out with your inhale and exhale. Maybe even focus that exhalation. All right, gently make your way back to center. Untangle the left leg high, very slowly. And then you're gonna, with that straightened left leg, bring it all the way down onto your mat. The right knee comes in, comes all the way across the body for spinal twist. Stretch your right arm out and just get kind of exploratory through the right arm. So you're gonna take it maybe up a little higher to get into the lats. Maybe actively cactus your arm down. Let your head relax. Tune in and tap in to the power of your breathing. Notice how your breathing almost has that innate wisdom if you give it the opportunity. To get a little more gentle, get a little more quiet as we come into the compression of a twist. And then roll all the way back to center, both knees toward the chest. Once again, give them a hug. If you've got some support under your head, you're going to slide it out of the way and then take the soles of the feet back down onto your mat. Lifting your way back up into bridge pose. Once again, just take your hips high. Take your breath in, let it go. And then roll your hips back down before we come off of our back. Let's work the feet out a little broader. Take some windshield wipers side to side, just to continue that process of warming and lubricating our hip joints before we come into any major weight bearing positions. And then begin to work your knees upright, to work your feet back in a little closer. We'll take the knees toward the chest, but this time hands to the back of our thighs. Build up a little momentum, rock your way forward and backward until you find Navasana, boat pose. So allow your feet to come away from the floor if you'd like, or keep them down. Hands can stay at the hamstrings. Hands can be free, open, finding a position that feels perfect. Close your eyes. If you feel comfortable doing so here, soften the jaw. Breathe out through a slightly open mouth. And then a cross-legged seat, just crossing your ankles, guiding your hands together. Base of the thumbs come toward the top of your breastbone. Settle into this shape ever so briefly, knowing that we won't be here too very long. Lift up through the length of your spine. Begin to slow your breathing down. Perhaps notice how elongating the breath has already become a bit more manageable than before. And before we dive fully into our asana, our physical practice, let's begin with a little pranayama. You are welcome to keep your hands here held together at heart, or rest them upon your knees or your thighs, or just allow the hands to drift down toward the ground. You find what feels best, what allows you to focus on the breathing. And we'll do a little breath retention. Often when I do this practice, I put a little more emphasis on holding the breath after the inhale. But today, I want to actually hold our breath after the exhale. So taking a deep breath in, somewhere in the vicinity of a count of 4, just a very brief pause after that inhale. And then exhale as much of your air out as you can. Longer pause after that breath out, one in which makes you a little hungry for oxygen, and then breathe in. Just a slight pause at the top of that inhale, breathe your breath out. Holding the breath out, and then grateful for that inhale. Breathe out. Cultivating gratitude for our breath in, and then drinking it in. Maybe add a slight sigh with your exhalation next time you take it. And a really active compression of every bit of air out that you can. And inhale. And just notice what arises, what sensation, what emotion perhaps comes up as you take this particular pranayama. One more round. And then as you draw that next breath in, exhale it right out. And then just breathe naturally, unencumbered. Take your transition to your tabletop from there. Hands and knees. Of course, adding any cushioning with your blanket beneath your kneecaps that you might want today. Anytime we get this kind of weather, I don't know about you all, but my joints get a little extra cranky. So I'm going to be putting the blanket under my knees in our kneeling positions today. You're welcome to join me or totally disregard it. Take some cat and some cow and liberate that cat and cow. Color outside the lines, come back to child's, maybe inch your hands forward, come into upward facing dog. No rules, just intuitive movement. So moving on your behalf. And I want you to believe that your intuition does actually know best, far better than my sequencing could ever do justice. So move on your behalf. And if there's something that I ask your body to do, and it doesn't feel quite right today, don't be afraid to make slight modifications or to go a little bit different direction. Now, once you do have a chance to move quite a bit, come back toward child's pose and make sure it's a very restful child's pose. So including your head, make sure your head can feel very easeful, resting either to the cross of your arms, to the floor, or to your block. This easefulness that we create through our head and our upper body allows our hips to get a better stretch, allows the low back to release a little better as well. For your next couple of breaths out, just a slight opening of the mouth as you exhale. And then re-extend your arms out ahead of you if you've crossed them. Transition from your child's pose through tabletop and right to downward facing dog, incorporating that movement, that coloring outside of the lines here in your downward facing dog as well. So you can allow that to be pretty simple with a pedaling of your legs or a shaking of your head, or perhaps you want to slide your hands a little farther ahead, shift a plank. You might want to lift one leg in your downward facing dog and open the hip. Just ideas. Can always choose C, all of the above, or D, none of the above. Nothing wrong with that. After this next breath in downward dog, you're going to come back down to that hands and knees position. And then set yourself up with the hands beneath the shoulders, the knees beneath your hips, and you'll extend your right leg straight back behind you. Press pretty evenly into both palms of your hands. Point, flex your foot, maybe take another turn of the ankle in each direction. And then draw a deep breath in. As you exhale, draw the right knee in toward the nose. Pause there. Press into your hands, curl your forehead toward your knee. And then on your next breath in, reach out long once again. Knee to nose, exhale. Pause. Inhale, reach back. Just one more time. Exhale your breath out. Find that slight pause. And then reach your right leg long. We'll take the right toe straight down toward the floor behind us. We'll take our left foot over, shin at a diagonal so that we can transition to barred gate pose. Right hand goes high. Take a strong stretch within the shape. Right arm goes alongside the right ear. Right foot anchors firmly to the ground. And then right hand goes high. Shift your body weight, hover your right leg up and away to hip height. Now you can add a quad stretch or you can disregard it. Bend your knee, reach back, maybe capture your foot. If the foot or the hamstring or the calf cramps, skip it today. Release. You're going to bring your right foot back down. You're going to bring your right hand down, and we're going to walk to the side of our mat so that we can come to a kneeling position on that left knee. Right foot is still straight out. Right arm, right hand, I should say, comes down the length of your right leg. Left arm goes high. Just moving into our opposite barred gait. One more breath. Release your left hand back down to your mat. Right hand follows, come all the way back to center, back to tabletop. Wiggle the shoulders, roll through the length of your spine, relieve your wrists, and then downward facing dog between our two sides. Lift into it, stretch into it, and breathe into it. Breathe on the behalf of your body. And for a moment, maybe consider something that makes you so impassioned that you would never hesitate to do something on the behalf of whatever that is that you are so very passionate about. And be that passionate about your body today, that you are breathing on behalf of your body. All right, come back down to your hands and your knees. Set yourself up to extend your left leg back long behind you. Even your body weight down through the hands. Take a deep inhale, and then you're going to exhale, knee toward nose. Pause after that breath out. Inhale, reach your left leg long. Exhale, draw the knee in. Press into your hands. Cat stretch your spine. Inhale, reach back. And just one more time. And then your left leg goes long. We bring the toes down, just straight down to the mat. Right foot comes over so that our shin is at a diagonal. Left hand goes high. Strong stretch in this position so the left arm reaches farther out in front of you. Get more active through your left foot. Keep it anchored. Yes. Excellent. Feel that groundedness, that anchoring through your left foot, creating a deeper stretch out through the left fingertips. All right, left hand goes high, left leg hovers. You got this, breathe. Perhaps that's perfect. If you want to add a quad stretch to that, you certainly can, or skip it today. One more breath here. Release. You're going to bring your left hand down. We're walking to the side of our mat, just keeping it pretty low. Adjust your foot over. Chances are it's going to have to go a little longer out, and then come up to a kneeling position. So you can start with the hands on your hips and then slide the left hand down, the left leg, right arm goes straight up. Think of lifting up and then leaning ever so slightly toward the left. Nice. Keep breathing. Bring your breath into the right side of your ribs. And then release. Right hand comes all the way down to the mat. Left hand joins the party. We come back to tabletop. We nourish ourselves. Now, just as we started in that tabletop, I want you to color outside the lines. I want you to offer yourself a little bit of counter movements to bring balance, to restore balance back. And again, breathe on your behalf. And when you're ready, we'll meet in downward facing dog. And as you find this inversion of downward dog, could you envision taking a breath in and letting your breath fall out? Then rise up and down a few times on your toes. Look forward, step or leap, feet toward the top of your mat. Anchor your feet. Slide your fingertips up high on your shins, just below your knees. Take an inhale. Bend your knees a little bit, exhale, and cascade your upper body forward into Uttanasana for a couple of breaths. Then take your time to come up nice and slow. When you come all the way up, take a stretch of your arms up high overhead. Seal the palms together. Exhale your hands down through to heart. And then take another big, strong stretch of your arms out and up. Slowly move into your forward fold, right down midline. Halfway lift, fingers to the shins as before or on the floor. And then come deeper into your stretch. Let your breath fall out. Stay for a couple of breaths. Feel the sensations of your body. Feel what you can feel. And then once again, come up very slowly, all the way up to a stand. Stretch your arms skyward, reach up high, take a deep breath in, and then drift your arms out and down near your sides as you exhale. Stand for just a moment, closing your eyes, slowing your breath, being right here. Feel your feet, feel your toes, feel the length of your legs, the length of your spine. And then open your eyes. Take an inhale, stretch your arms forward, upward, overhead. Once again, go out wide. Exhale, the hands drift down low. Twice more, we'll just move the shoulders through that range of motion. Inhale up, exhale out. This third round, inhale all the way up. Take your arms out wide, but come forward into your fold, diving your way down. Halfway lift as you breathe in. And as you exhale, take the palms of your hands to the top of your mat. You're going to step your feet all the way back into high plank pose. Now hold for just a couple of breaths, knowing that you have that option of kneeling plank anytime you need it. Keep that good form. Take another breath here. And then knowing that we're going to move through chaturanga, you might want to opt for those knees down. Exhale your way all the way down. Cobra or upward dog into downward dog. Take your time. And then right leg up and back in downward dog. You're going to step intentionally forward with your right foot between your hands. Get it up there any which way you need to, and then you'll bring your left knee down. Again, adding cushioning if you would like to have it today. Reach up high through your hands. Get your balance. Return your attention to your breath. Take an inhale, and then just bend your elbows nice and loose and relax through the shoulders. We'll make a gentle contact with our thumb to our first finger, releasing thumb to middle finger, releasing and breathing to ring finger, and finally to our pinky finger. On your next inhale, take both hands high, release both hands down. Move back into half splits. Straighten your front leg, and here's where those blocks will come in handy. You can place it under your left hand, you can place it under your right hand. You kind of have to find what works best for you. And if you've got two, you're ahead of the game. I offered one today just for those at home that might only have that one block available to them. Close your eyes if you can. Bend your knee any degree that you might need to pull your hips back and up in space. Flex your toes of your right foot up high to the sky. Unhinge your jaw. And just be. Now open your eyes. You're going to return to your lunge, but we're going to take it out a little wider. So we're going to go to lizard lunge. So you'll work your right foot out a little broader on your mat. You might want one of those blocks to go under your hands. You can use two again if you'd like. And we're just going to bring our chest forward a little bit. Take the gaze forward. Flex this left glute just a little bit behind you to release your hip flexor a bit more. And then decide to keep that back knee anchored, or maybe you want to explore with lifting the back knee away today. And believe me when I say one is certainly not more advanced than the other, just really different. Now from lizard, I want you to press back with your foot out in that little broader position. Very briefly, press back toward half splits, but keep reaching out ahead of you. Round your back a little bit here. Let your chin come down toward your chest. Take one more breath. And then release. You're going to work your way back toward that lizard position. We're going to work our right foot in ever so slightly, and then move to three-legged downward dog, sending your right leg straight back up behind you. Now decide if you might want to open the hip, bend the knee, or even create a big circle with your right knee around in space before setting both feet down to the ground. Now take a giant breath, exhale it out, and then come down to your knees between sides with that sequence. I want you to take a little rest, either in child's pose or in a kneeling seat. You decide. Just make sure you do feel restful enough to really slow your breathing back down, to release any tension that you might be feeling through the temples, the jaw, the neck, or shoulders. Take at least one more breath here. Then take your time to move back to downward facing dog. When you're ready to lift your left leg, please do so, and gently step forward between your hands for lunge. Back knee is going to come down. Both hands will reach high. Excellent. Breathe, get your balance, and then just soften your shoulders, bend your elbows, prana mudra. Take an inhale, make gentle contact, thumb to first finger, exhale. Inhale as you transition, middle finger, breathe out. And then ring finger. Be less concerned with your breathing rhythm. And then inhale, hands all the way up high. Exhale and release them down low. Move into half splits, grab your block or blocks. Nice. Just really active through the length of your leg here, through the length of your spine as well, but keep your neck fairly loose and relaxed. And here we breathe on behalf of every centimeter from our heel to our head. All right, exit out of that and move toward lizard pose. You're going to take your left foot over a little broader. You can always bring that block or blocks into place. You all know what to do. You can be on your hands. You can come down to your forearms if you need a deeper stretch. Just listen to your body. And of course, you can lift the back knee away if you'd like. Find a little engagement of your right glute, the back of your right hip. Engage that musculature so that the hip flexor gets its full stretch. Just bring your chest and your gaze slightly out ahead of you. Take one more breath here. The back knee's lifted, go ahead and lower it. You're just gonna press forward through your hands, pull the hips back, the knee can stay as bent as you need it to. Allow yourself to bow forward, to bring a little bit of a cat-like stretch through the length of your spine. And then move your way back toward lunge. As you do, you'll just wiggle your foot over, and then we'll meet back in downward dog with our left leg lifted high. Open your hip if you'd like, move your leg around, and then return to downward facing dog at center. Take a deep breath. As you exhale your breath out, look forward, step or leap, feet to hands. Ardha Uttanasana. Once you arrive, take that half lift, breathe in. Exhale your breath out as you fold forward. Stand tall, stretch your hands high. Inhale. Rise up, exhale, hands join together and come to heart. Close your eyes, stand, be, breathe. And then slowly drift your hands down near your sides. Curl your fingers in toward the palms into gentle fists. Take a few circles of your wrists, nice and slow. With your eyes closed, get a sense of the spacing of your feet. Bring your feet in quite close to one another. A little bit of space between your inner heels. Press down through the feet as though your feet were now 1 foot cooperating as one. Stand as tall as you can. Breathe as deep as you can. And then open your eyes. Chair pose. Belinda, you know, I always got to do chair pose. It's my signature move, according to Belinda. Take an inhale. I think she's right, though. Exhale, sit a little deeper. Hands go down and back. Stand tall. Reach up high. Inhale. Now cactus, your arms. Breathe out. Reach up high through the hands. Breathe in. Dive forward. Exhale. Everything out. Halfway lift. Make space for that breath to come in. Empty it out and anchor your hands to the top of your mat. Now we'll move back to plank pose. Just take a breath or two to get your bearings. Set your sights slightly out ahead of you. And on your next breath out, Chaturanga Dandasana, lower down, cobra or upward facing dog. On a breath out, downward dog. All right, take a stretch of your right leg up high behind you. Take a strong breath in, and then as you exhale, step forward once again to find a lunge, this time keeping the back knee away from your mat. We're going to come all the way up into Anjaneyasana, high lunge, so make sure your feet are broad enough for balance. And then just stretch both hands high overhead. Now, just as you did in your low lunge, I want you to create that prana mudra, just that easefulness through the shoulders, easefulness through the hands. You might even need to wiggle your fingers a little to ensure that that's the case. And we're going to take our hands to interlace behind our head. I want you to lean your head back slightly into the basket of your hands. Find your breath once again. Find your feet. Find your foundation. Take an inhale. Now, as you exhale, lean forward out into the world. Straighten your back leg. Keep breathing. Slide your drishti, your gaze, down a little, out to the floor in front of you. Keep breathing still. Now unlace your hands. Stretch your arms all the way out wide to a T. We're going to bring the left hand down to the floor or a block. Right hand goes high. Inhale and exhale. Good. Nice job. One more breath. Gently release. Right hand comes down. We're going to step back into plank. Move through that connecting vinyasa once again, nice and slow to meet in downward dog. Take your time. Take a few clearing breaths in downward dog. Once you have your breath back on track, left leg goes high, step forward between your hands, confident stance through your feet. Come all the way up. Good, perch on the ball of that back foot. Take an inhale. As you exhale, create your prana mudra. Interlace your hands behind your head. And even though your body's working hard, let your head take a little time off, kind of resting into the basket of your hands. Breathe big. Take another inhale. Now hinge forward with your exhale. Straighten your back leg. Keep the front knee bent. Set your sights out ahead of you. Unlace your fingers. Stretch your arms out wide. Take one more inhale. Right hand goes down to the block or the floor. Left hand goes up high. Find your twist. Excellent. Gorgeous, Sarah. Keep stretching up into it through the left fingertips. And release. Step back into plank pose. We're going to come all the way down onto our abdomen here. Slowly lift through a luxurious cobra pose. Just rise up. Inhale. Bow forward with your breath out. Now stack your hands, create a little pillow to rest your forehead upon. Feel the tops of your feet just lightly, gently anchored toward your mat or the floor behind you. And just take note of all of the places that your body makes contact with the ground here. Breathe. And then keeping everything the same as much as you can, you're going to simply bend your right knee so that the right foot is now reaching up toward the ceiling. You can feel the right glute, the right hamstring engage a little bit. Just as simple as that. You're going to release the length of your right leg back out, readjust the knee as you need to, and then do the same thing on the left side. Just bend your left knee, left foot high, back line of the left leg engaged. Top of your right foot still anchored. Breathe. And then release. Straighten the left leg back out. Now we're going to do the same thing. Bend the right knee. Take your right foot high. And this takes a lot of focus, a lot of effort. I want you to see if you could pulse the right foot up toward the ceiling so that your right knee comes up off of the mat, but your right hip bone does not. And then release down. Stretch your right leg back out. Take a breath in between sides. Exhale it all the way out. And then bend your left knee. Being very grounded through the rest of your body, you're just going to pulse the left foot up so the left knee comes away from the mat, but the left hip bone stays intact, and then release down and stretch your leg low. Now just once more on each side. Bend the knee on the right side, pulse the foot up, knee comes down, straighten the leg out. Make sure you're breathing. Bend the left knee, pulse the left leg, lower it, straighten it out. Take a breath. Take your hands back for support. Tuck your toes under. Draw the shoulders back. Take an inhale. And then press your way up through kneeling or full plank to downward dog. Deep clearing breath in downward dog. Rise to your toes. Look forward. Walk or jump your feet toward your hands. Take a half lift. Inhale. Empty your breath out. Fold forward. Stand tall. Stretch your hands high. And then draw the palms together right down to Anjali Mudra. Close your eyes. Slow your breath. Just be and breathe once again. With your eyes closed and the palms of your hands pressed into one another, you're going to start to inch the feet back in fairly close, but not quite to touch one another. So just get a sense of the spacing of your feet through proprioception rather than the use of your eyes. Take a breath or two once you feel pretty confident in your stance. And then the fun part of opening your eyes and just kind of glancing down and seeing like, whoa, I was facing 45 degrees this way or that way or what have you. And then just straightening things out as much as you need to. Shift your body weight over into your right foot. I want you to get lighter on the left and just start to take your left thigh up to the horizon. Now lift your drishti, lift your gaze up toward the top of the wall if you can. Lift your heart along with that. And then take a kick of your foot straight out. And then rebend your knee. Think of Frank Sinatra if you need to. Get a kick out of you. Kick your foot straight out. And then rebend the knee. Breathe. One more time. Good. Now return your foot down. Close your eyes. Relax your hands. Just kind of loosely march your heels alternately up, up, up. And then toe, heel, maybe swing, sway your arms. Swing, sway. That feels like a good description of that. Breathe and come back to stillness. Slowly guide the palms of your hands back in to press against one another in Anjali Mudra. Guide your breath down deep. Exhale it out. And then open your eyes. Shift your body weight into your left foot. Get lighter on the right. Take your thigh up high. Focus your drishti up a little higher. And with that, we lift the chest. We lean back just a little bit to counter this kick forward. And bend your knee. Good. Do it again. Might be helpful to inhale as you bend and exhale as you kick. And then return your foot down to the floor. Close your eyes, relax your hands, march, swing, sway, shake it out. Now this time you're gonna swing, sway your arms up a little higher and then swoosh your hands down as you bend your knees, come toward a forward fold. Down and up, down. Good, brush off anything you need to. And then inhale all the way up, arms drift out wide as you descend down into your forward fold. Now widen the stance of your feet and grasp hold of opposite forearms with your hands and just let your torso sway a little bit right and left. And then release your hands down low. We're gonna work our feet out even broader so that we can move back into Malasana. So you're gonna just start to sit the hips back, lift your heart high. Again, go anywhere along that path that feels right. If you can move on down to it easily, you're gonna work toward that lift of your head as though you're taking the back of the head toward the wall behind you. Broaden your collarbones. Nothing wrong with stopping somewhere along the way. Just simply get the stretch through your hips. Take just a couple more breaths. And then gently lift out of it, taking your rump back up high and angling your feet to a comfortable distance. You can narrow your feet back in, place your hands to the top of your mat, step back into plank to move through a connecting vinyasa, or you can step right on back into downward facing dog. Enjoying a few extra deep breaths there. Take your time to get there. And then inhale, right leg high. You're gonna step forward to warrior one foot pattern. Angle and anchor that left foot back. Stretch both hands high overhead. Now this time we'll keep our arms fully extended. We'll take that little lean forward out into the world, and then you're gonna let your arms relax. So you're gonna just kind of let your arms go down. You might even shake your shoulders a little bit. Then we're gonna reach back through our right hand, reach forward through the left. Now we are gonna move all the way to the back of our mat for warrior two. So you're gonna come all the way up, you're gonna pivot your feet, turn your left foot to now be your front foot in warrior two, facing toward the back of your mat. Flip both palms high to the sky. You're gonna straighten your front leg, reach both hands high together above your head. Exhale, move back to warrior two, rebend your knee. Inhale, straighten the front leg, reach up high. Exhale, open the arms, rebend your knee. One more time. Now when you're ready, reverse your warrior. Settle into the shape. Beautiful. Keep bending that left knee to get that full access into the stretch at your left side body. Take another inhale here. As you exhale, left hand is going to come down toward the floor at the inside of your left foot. We're going to turn to wide leg stretch. Sideways on your mat. Settle into it. Space your feet. Relax your head. Grab your block if you'd like to, if the ground just feels a little too far away today. Right, we're gonna come up hands to hips from here. So just start to lengthen, bend your knees for stability, hands move to hips, stand all the way up. Now turn your right foot toward the top of your mat to find warrior two there. Stretch your arms out wide. Flip the palm of your right hand open and up. Reach a little farther out in front of you. And in side angle pose, you can take your right arm down as the left hand goes high. You can take that left arm all the way alongside the ear if that feels better. Awesome job. Keep on breathing. Good. We're going to move both hands down to the ground at the inside of that right foot. Come onto the ball of your back foot, lizard pose. You've already been here once. You're going to come into that lizard once again. You're going to bring the back knee down. Left hand's going to go to that block if you'd like it. Two toes of your right foot turn out, press against your thigh, add a little gentle rotation, or add a quad stretch for your left leg today. Nice, good. Exactly where you need to be. Just keep breathing. And then release. Bring both hands down to the mat once again. We'll go into side plank. So we're gonna have this left foot back. You can also be on the knee. We're gonna turn, I'll show you the modified version of this. So the right foot's gonna go all the way back. Left knee's still gonna be at the mat, or you can take both feet back to the end of your mat. Find your position, take a couple more breaths. And then turn your way back to kneeling or full plank. Move through a connecting vinyasa if you'd like to find downward dog. Go at your own pace, truly. Take a few clearing breaths. Beginning to wind down. We'll move through this second side. Left leg goes high. Step forward for warrior one. Come all the way up. Anchor that back foot. Stretch both hands high. Breathe in. And then we hinge forward. We just reach out into the world and then let your arms relax. Shake them out a little bit. Your left hand's going to go back. Right arm is going to reach out ahead of you. And then we kind of windmill the arms as we take this transition all the way to warrior two, toward the back of your mat. Now in this dancing warrior, turn your gaze to the side wall, flip the palms of your hands skyward, straighten your front leg, reach high through your hands, look up a little, and then exhale, turn your gaze toward your right hand. Reach up, breathe in, breathe out. Find that meditation and motion. And then reverse your warrior. And just take some of that compression out of the lowest part of your back. Think of lifting up and then leaning over ever so slightly, just as we did in that barred gate variation at the start of our practice. Take one more inhale. Exhale, bring the right hand down low, and we move into side wide leg stretch, that is, to the side of our mat. Yep, block is great to grab if you need it. See how much ease you could absorb here. Show y'all my better side for those at home. Sorry about that. All right, lift just a little bit. Find your legs, once again, hands to hips, and then come all the way up. You're gonna turn so that your left foot is toward the top of your mat and rebuild your warrior two. So stretch things out, readjust your feet, reach out wide. You're gonna flip your left palm, reach a little farther ahead of you, and then side angle pose, just tick-tock your arms down. Nice job, keep on breathing. No strain for the neck. You find that line of sight that works for you today. Take one more breath here. Gently release down, move to the inside of your left foot, lizard pose. Bring the back knee down. Grab your block if you want to have it under your right hand. Remember that block has multiple levels that it can go to. Quad stretch if you want to add it. Simple rotation if you're not pressing the hand to the top of the thigh. Nice. Take another breath. And then release your foot if you've got it. We're going to transition to side plank. So you can always keep that right knee down and just turn the foot out as you slide the leg back, or you can send both feet back to the back of your mat. Left hand goes high above you. Nice job. Keep on breathing. John, bring that left foot straight back. So it's going to go, yeah, there it is. That's going to challenge your core just a little bit more. Excellent. One more breath, y'all. And release, turn to kneeling or full plank at center. Lower down, move through a connecting vinyasa, downward facing dog. Just one more time together tonight. Breathe into it. And then child's pose. One more breath. And then come back up to tabletop. We'll move right toward a seat and we're gonna grab that blanket. So we'll take our blanket, give it one more fold from how you got it off the shelf so that you have this kind of size with your blanket. And you've got this kind of clean corner here. That's gonna be the corner that you're gonna put most of your tush onto. So you can actually sit so that you can kind of see the point of the corner out in front of you. So this allows us to have more space right here for us to lay our legs. So we're going to do a little work with our shoelace pose. So we're going to start with our right leg coming back. And you can think of this as like half Lord of the Fishes foundation. And we're going to actually start with that half Lord of the Fishes. So know thyself. If hopping that foot across creates pain in your knee or your hips, you're not going to hop that foot across. As long as it feels okay, you'll hop the foot across, you'll sit up tall, just take a nice gentle interlace of your hands around the knee. And then little by little, we're just adding a slight rotation. So it's as though you were going to go to fish pose, but not quite. Just kind of turning slowly and gently toward the left. And then as you go to turn to the right, you're going to wiggle walk that foot a little farther over, right? And an alternative to this is going to be a simple cross-legged seat. I think that was my cue. So just a simple cross-legged seat here, or you're working that foot over to stack the knees. And this is where that pillow or that block can sometimes come in handy, just giving yourself a little bit of a cushion. And then just a gentle, gentle hinge forward. Another breath or two. As the body releases, you might be able to take any props away that you added. And then when you're ready, you're going to just lean back and you'll switch sides, decompress the legs a little bit, and take the other leg on bottom. So half Lord of the Fishes, interlace of your grip around the shin. Just a little rotation toward the right. And then as you start to come back in that opposite direction, you kind of open your body up, you wiggle walk the foot to lay the knees on top of one another. And don't disregard a cross-legged seat if that is a lot of opening for your hips. So close your eyes, relax your shoulders. If you want to add a little bit more stretch, you're just kind of leaning forward over your legs. Good, breathe. And then release, you're gonna lean back, you're gonna untangle your legs, stretch them out, come off of your prop and move right onto your back. Now we've got one more with our block or our firm pillow if you're at home without a block. So as you come onto your back, you're gonna come into bridge just enough to lift up and place the block beneath your hips for supported bridge pose. Slowly breathing down. Getting a nice gentle release for the hip flexors. And if there's anything that you know you like to add to this, such as a block stand with one leg extended up, or maybe both legs extended up with that support of the block beneath your hips, you're welcome to enjoy that inversion for a few moments. If you've got your block on a lower level and your hip flexors need a little additional release, you're going to just extend one leg down the length of your mat at a time. And whenever you are ready to come off the support of that block, ease your way down, take any final movements that you need to. Stretch out in the direction of Shavasana. We did a lot for our hips today, so if the weight and warmth of the blanket across the front of your hips sounds inviting, please add that. If you need support under the head or neck, you could always take that alternative with the blanket instead. And then just step in to the stillness. The continuous ebb and flow of your breathing, but otherwise, just relax into stillness. Breathe on behalf of your body. There are many times over the course of our life that we must advocate for ourselves or for a loved one. Allow your breath to advocate for your body. As you continue to breathe intentionally, slowly reawaken a little movement into your fingers and your toes. Stretch your arms up alongside your ears. Find a full body stretch from the tips of your toes to the tips of your fingers. And then find a good hug of your knees toward your chest. Wrap your arms around yourself. Give yourself a gentle side to side rock. And then ultimately roll in one direction or the other. Don't overthink it. And then gently press to a comfortable seat to close out our practice together. Breathe big a few more times. And then bring the palms of your hands to touch. Bring your breath into that space beneath your hands. And then take a shift of the base of your thumbs up to your forehead. Lift your chin a little higher than the horizon. Take a giant breath in. Empty it out. And then just take one more deep inhale. As you exhale, gently bow, honoring this practice that we share, this space that we share, this collaborative effort. Namaste. Thank you so very much. Take care of yourselves. Have a good Friday night. Thanks for joining in studio and thanks for joining online. Have a good night.